You know, he's hard to peg back when he gets in front. But if you can put pressure under him and he starts missing a few doubles, and that's what Steve has got to do. Get into him early.
25.
Well, 25's good enough for Steve Douglas.
And
And it'll be Douglas to throw first here. The winner of this one will play Steve Beaton, the number 8 seed, your reigning German darts master from last year. Douglas straight into the treble 20.
95.
Well, Steve Douglas, he's got a little bit of funny, whatever you call it, but when he brings the dart back, his eyes actually look at the flight. Where a lot of players, it works, whatever he does. But as he actually brings the dart back, he looks at the flight where normally, you know, you keep focused on that treble 20. You don't move your eyes off it. But, well, he's in there again. There we have it. Look, you just see his eyes flick up there, and looks like he's looking at the flights.
Back-to-back 180s for Steve Douglas. And not a bad way to start for the man from Gillingham.
92.
Got here by qualifying, beat the likes of Wayne Jones and Brian Woods to qualify. And he's looking at an 11 darter here to start things off. Double top he wants. Decent marker.
Well, he's got plenty of time, hasn't he? I mean, Dean's probably 9 darts away, 6 with a big score here, which he's not going to do. So Douglas is coming back for a 13 dart leg. Already had 2 darts at double top.
No score.
That's 5 that have gone missing, but Dean Winstanley yet to get down to a finish. He'll be on one now.
99.
Can Steve Douglas finally take out this double top? Yes, he can. And it's 1-0. European Tour debut for Steve Douglas.
Well, Winstanley be thinking, Dan, well, if Douglas is going to hit 180s, do it on your throw.
140.
You know, you don't mind that so much. It's when someone hits them 180s, you know, against the throw, that's when they're a problem.
Yeah, and Winstanley will just be looking for a solid sub-15 dart leg of his own. Well, this is the way to go about it.
140.
Back-to-back 140s for over the top. That'll do very nicely. And Stanley beating Mark Cox and Matt Clark to qualify.
81.
Made the second round of the previous 2 European Tour events so far this year. And been beaten by Wes Newton and Ian White. Not happy with that.
And a little tip for all you punters out there, keep an eye on Ian White, one of the most underestimated players on tour. Lost in a pro event to Robert Thornton last week, but had 6 darts at a double to beat him 6-4. And I just feel it's going to be a good year. So match on match, perhaps not to win tournaments, but match on match, Ian White might be good to look at. You'll get good odds on him.
100.
Yeah, very solid player. Even Michael Van Gerwen himself says the 2 most underrated players on the PDC circuit. One of them Ian White, the other one Brendan Dolan.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very rarely going to roll over and just give you a match. Well, that's maximum number 3 for Steve Douglas. This should be Winstanley's leg, though. And he's one apiece. And Dean Winstanley will be very happy with that. A 14 dart leg. Get his first leg on the board.
Yeah, he'd be extremely happy with that, especially taking the double out cleanly. You know, Douglas has hit a 180 to put the pressure on, and he hasn't worried. And there we have it, the averages Coming up, Steve Douglas, 96 and 114 for the first 9. That's good averages and 3 180s already, and we're only in the third leg.
95.
And Steve Douglas, might have seen him at the Lakeside. Played there a few times. The most recent time, shortly after he'd had a heart operation. Apparently, said to the doctor, am I going to be all right to play darts? He said, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem as long as it's not stressful. Didn't tell him he was playing it on live TV.
It's not stressful.
Take your word for that, Rod.
Blood pressure doesn't go up.
That's stressful when you're hitting 4 180s in the opening 3 legs.
Well, certainly when we say getting out the gate quick, Douglas is doing that with those maximums. He's actually, if he takes the doubles out cleanly, as I say that, he has smartened it up a little bit. He will be at the double first, but Winstanley here needs a 140, puts that extra bit of pressure on the 82. Great dance. That's pressure for you.
Yeah, fantastic work from over the top. Yeah. Which way is Douglas going to go? He went for the ball route. He's hit single 14. So that leaves him 68. Oh, he's missed the big number. And so, maybe that pressure, that 140, maybe that has helped turn things Winstanley's way. 86. Should at least get a dart at the bullseye. No. Moves over. It is going to be a dart at the bullseye. Back to his original position on the oche, lining this one up. Oh, that is a whisker away.
Yes, that was a well-thrown dart there from Winstanley. You can't get any closer without putting it in. But Carlisle can punish him with double top, double 10. One dart left in his hand, and that's all that Steve Douglas needs to take a 2-1 lead over Winstanley. Sometimes a whisker is the difference between winning and losing, and if that had gone in the bullseye, then Winstanley is on the march.
Back in that treble 20, Stuart Douglas. Steve Douglas, I should say, rather. More like it from Dean Winstanley. Can he fill it up? We'll take another one.
99.
I don't understand why he went down the bottom there. I mean, that treble 20 looked a great guide. But we have to understand, you know, the line that we're looking at may be different to the line where the dart player's looking at. And he will see the flight mask in the treble where on TV we won't. So sometimes they switch when you don't understand it. It's because of that.
Now, I've spoken to Dean about his throw before. He's convinced he is the only dart player who throws with his thumb. He's convinced that all the guidance is all from the thumb. You'll see a lot of dart players will be gripping it firmly with their fingers, but everything Dino reckons is just with his thumb. Pointed straight up and flings it towards its target. His thumb will go directly to it.
Well, all dart players, the last 2 fingers to let go is the thumb and the forefinger. And obviously, it is the thumb that probably gives it the power, but it's the forefinger laying on top of the dart that gives it the accuracy. You know, and sets the dart in motion through the air.
121.
As Dean Winstanley made a final of a Players' Championship in Barnsley in March, beating the likes of Terry Jenkins, Gary Anderson, eventually losing to Michael Van Gerwen. Made the semi-final of a UK Open qualifier in February, lost 6-2 to Lewis at that after beating James Wade and Andy the Pieman Smith, who we saw as a 6-1 winner over Joe Mernon earlier this afternoon. So it is there in little spells, the former Lakeside finalist. He can put a little run together.
100.
He's a contender to be here on Monday night, fighting out for a 20 grand first prize. But right now he's got his hands full with Steve Douglas.
140.
matching 140s. Dean Winstanley has got the advantage here, but one of those 180s from Steve Douglas would help him out. There's two. Oh, that's a low dart, but it does give him an outside chance. Now what Winstanley's got to do, he's got to set this up if he's not going to take it out. Well, he's not going to take it out now, but he needs a treble. All the hard work in this leg could be thrown away. So 115 for Steve Douglas.
Well, back up for treble 20 here. Finds it. Great dart from Steve Douglas. Double 18 is what he wanted, but he misses inside. Now, Dean Winstanley only needs one treble here to get a shot at double 18 himself. Have to come over the top of that one. Doesn't manage to do so. So to re-establish a one-leg lead, Steve Douglas wants double 9. Nobody's favourite, and that's why. Only going to get one more dart at a double. Sneaks that in the one. And double 4's a long way off. Yeah, about that far away, Steve.
Well, Winstanley took this out in his very first leg that he won, and he's taken it out in the third leg. That's 3 out of 3 on the doubles for Winstanley. That's the breaker throw. That's what he was looking for. Douglas will be fuming with himself over the missed doubles. And it's that double 9 again, Dan, that's causing the problem.
140.
And exactly what Dean Winstanley would have wanted. A strong start to this leg as he looks to consolidate his lead. He leads for the first time in a match.
41.
And maybe he's weathered the Douglas storm. 4 180s from Steve Douglas in these opening 5 legs. And yet he still trails 3-2. And there is a first maximum for Dean Winstanley. Maybe the tide is turning here.
It's all about pressure, this game.
100.
It's the pressure you can handle, and then it's the pressure you put on your opponent. And Winstanley has weathered the pressure from Steve Douglas at the moment, and now he's the one who's starting to pile the pressure on Douglas. 81 after 9 darts with your throw. You're not going to lose too many legs as long as you clean the double up.
Well, he's going to have plenty of time to do so. Starts off with the ball, hits the 25, so he will get a shot at double top. But he'll be back.
Yeah, that's not a bad way of going. The 25 or the bullseye guarantees you a dart at the double and not at the bullseye. And he had plenty of time. Well, he's hit this double top in the first and third leg that he's won. Can he hit it in the fourth? No, 10s. Oh, and he's up to the dreaded 5s.
Yeah, not ideal for Dean Winstanley, that. But Douglas is a long way back. It is not impossible, though. It is now.
95.
So Dean Winstanley, double 5 he wants. And double 5 he gets. And for the first time in the match, we've got a 2-leg gap between these two, and it's in Dean Winstanley's favour.
Yeah, good solid leg there from Winstanley. Kicked off with the 140, 180 ton. As I said, with the throw, you ain't going to be outscored with that. So you get down to the double first and literally unbeatable.
See the checkout percentages there. Very respectable 4 out of 9 for Dean Winstanley. Somewhat less so, 2 out of 11 for Douglas.
119.
A scrappy start to this leg, but it is on the Douglas throw, so this isn't crucial for Winstanley to win. He knows it's just about holding his own throw, and anything else he picks up is a bonus right now.
100.
Well, Steve Douglas on 142 Dean Winstanley a long way off on 3.99.
45.
Looks like he's kind of given this leg up to Steve Douglas, thinking, well, I don't want to hit a big score. I want to hit the big ones on the next throw.
Always a strange when our darts players think like that. They'll just, I'll save up my scoring for the next leg. Doesn't make any logical sense, but
They do it though, Dan. You know, we've kind of nicknamed it the wasted 180, haven't we? You know, the guy goes up, hits a 180, and his opponent goes up, pop, double top, first dart, and he's thinking, well, can I have that 180 kick this leg off?
Steve Douglas looks at double top here for a 100 checkout, and that's very, very nice indeed. And the man from Kent.
I think the classic example of that sort of play is James Wade. You never really see him have many averages over the tons because of those legs that he just kind of gives up.
And yet he always seems to have those psychological reserves that when there is a leg that he needs to win, that he does need a big score, that he does need a 12-darter, he somehow pulls it off, and Steve Douglas has smashed in his 5th 180. And that is on the Winstanley throw as well, but here back comes over the top with a 180 of his own. Top class darts here at the German Darts Masters.
Well, that certainly has got the German crowd going. Oh, that's unlucky, really unlucky. But another strong scoring leg. The previous leg that Winstanley threw first, identical scores, 140, 180, and he followed that with a ton.
60.
Not this time.
Well, I don't know how close that 5th dart from Steve Douglas was. It looked close to me. But Winstanley does still have the advantage in this leg.
Not now. Advantage. He may only get one dart at double top, so Douglas here just got to make sure he hits one treble to put some pressure on. No, he's got to come down for 17s now.
57.
So Winstanley, the treble 18, will leave him double 12.
Well, just a 1 dart at double top now for Dean Winstanley to go within a leg of the next round, and he's missed it. And Douglas took out 100 clinically in the previous leg. Can he follow suit here? Did it in 2 darts last time. And he's got a chance here of doing exactly the same. Well, he's missed with the second, but it won't matter if this 3rd one goes in, and there is loads of room in that double top bed. Can't find it. And Dean Winstanley will breathe a huge sigh of relief. But it'll be a lot bigger if he nails it himself, which he does, bang in the middle. And Dean Winstanley goes within 1 leg of a place in the 2nd round to play Steve Beaton. Massive moment in this match, that.
Yeah, that was a great chance for Steve Douglas to get it back to 4 each. You know, especially he would have been feeling confident because he took the 100 out the previous leg.
100.
But it was not to be. And to be fair to Winstanley, held his bottle, double top first dart now. He is the one in the driving seat. He's now moved to the back seat.
Well, once again, Dean will be thinking this is just a free roll for him. It's on the Douglas throw. He knows he'll be throwing first in the next leg. That could well be the key one for him. He'll want to end it sooner, of course he will, but
100.
Yes, he will want to end it right here. You don't want to give this man, Steve Douglas, a chance to throw a good 12 dart leg to make it 5-all, and then Douglas will have the throw in the last leg.
yeah, and be taking a lot of momentum into that as well. He has hit 5 maximum so far, Steve Douglas. It's been his doubling that's let him down. Well, just the 60, but he's still got a 167-point lead on Winstanley here.
83.
Well, he's going to get 6 darts from 104. Now he's gone the 16th route. Treble 16 will leave him double top. 32 scored. 72 left. He's still going for the treble 16. That will leave him double 12.
48.
So, Steve Douglas, his doubles have been the weak point of his game so far. He's looking at double top. He missed 2 in the last leg at this. That is a long way off. And that one was close, but not close enough. And Dean Winstanley is likely to have a match dart here. It's only going to be one at the bull, you would think. No, it's not. It's going to be double 7.
He didn't mean to do that either, did he?
Oh, that is not far away, but one match dart goes begging. Is Steve Douglas going to give Dean Winstanley any more in this leg? Or is he going to have to make him earn them later in the match? And a nod from Dean Winstanley. One chance has gone. He needs to earn himself some more.
I don't think Dean was actually going for that treble 18. I think he was going for the big 18. In his head, he's thinking, I'll have a dart at that bullseye. And it slid into the the treble 18. Threw him a little bit there. A lot of players will just go for that big 18. They won't mess around at that tight bit on the treble in case they push or pull into the the 4 or the 1. But this is where Dean has got to stay focused.
Well, we said this was the leg that could decide the outcome of this match. Winstanley has started off pretty poorly. All got a bit nervy here.
100.
Important last start from Steve Douglas. He's seized the initiative here. What has Dean Winstanley got to try and turn it around? One match start has already gone begging.
100.
Finds a treble for the first time in this leg. One that he desperately needed. But Douglas has stolen the darts.
Level tons for Steve Douglas. He threw second in this leg and he's got that advantage. He's going to get 6 darts from 201 to level it up. And at one time you had to say that Winstanley would have been massively odds on to go ahead and win this game. If you're backing on the spread betting and back to and throw,
97.
you'd be sitting there quids in whatever happens.
Now, what has he got here? A 140. Well, he's
95.
drifted into the treble 5.
104.
Still anyone's leg here. And he's found the treble that he wanted. And hits the double top. We are going all the way here. 104 checkout from Steve Douglas. Means we are down to a deciding leg. That is the first time that Steve Douglas has broken Dean Winstanley in this match, just when he needed to. Can he find a 15 dart leg on his own throw? That may be enough to close this match out.
Well, there's the finishes, a ton and a 104. And they're all important, but certainly that 104 was. And just the last couple of legs, Dean has, lost that bit of consistency. I mean, in the early part of the game when it was nice and casual, it was 140, 180 kicking off. Now it's very scrappy.
140.
And a ton 40 from Steve Douglas means Dean Winstanley has a mountain to climb. He needs more trebles, and he needs them now. And he's found 2. He can't find a 3rd. But even a ton 40 leaves him 40 points behind. And Douglas throwing now. He may be relying on the man from Gillingham to miss some doubles at this rate.
44.
Well, he's missed a treble, so that's let Dean in. So just make sure you hit a treble, and put your opponent in trouble.
51.
Not that treble.
Not punished Douglas for the mistake, has he? Oh, getting a bit edgy to the back end of this deciding leg here.
119.
Oh, those 57s for Douglas. A welcome sight for him. He's managed to get down to a finish, and he's got 6 darts from here. Steve Douglas trailed 5-3 in this match. Winstanley was in the ascendancy. But Steve Douglas
77.
has set this up very nicely indeed. And all Dean Winstanley can do is try and put a dent in this.
Well, he was 5-3 down, Steve Douglas. Now he's got 3 clear darts to win and a place in the second round tomorrow afternoon.
Well, we saw Ronnie Hybrex miss a host of match darts earlier on.
No score.
The first game of the afternoon when he lost to Jarkko Kamula in a deciding leg.
30.
Steve Douglas has just missed 3. And Dean Winstanley is looking at 130. Needs to find the treble for a shot at the ball. Doesn't get it, so Douglas will be back.
58.
Remember, Dean Winstanley has already missed a match start to win this 6-3. And Steve Douglas is going to have to work his way down a long way from there, but does so with his second dart. It was edgy, it was nervy, but Steve Douglas came from 5-3 down. He survived the match start